What's going on YouTube? The Black Ops 6 early access beta is finally live, and you might be questioning to yourself if you should be purchasing this year's Call of Duty title, which is absolutely fair. The last couple CODs have been pretty crap. However, I want to show you some clips I've collected early on in the beta to give you an idea of what's in store for you. Oh my god.
Wow.
Woo! Moving all directional stuff, but oh my god.
And then you jump off the map. Do I get the
Not only does the gameplay look extremely exciting, there's a lot of new stuff coming into Call of Duty that has never been addressed before. And if you're on mouse and keyboard like I am, you want to listen to what I have to say. Without further ado, let's get into today's video. I think the biggest topic right now circulating Black Ops 6 is the new movement system called Omnidirectional Movement, or what I like to just call Omni Movement. This is a new taste on movement for Call of Duty, and I have to say is pleasantly surprising. Being on mouse and keyboard, this movement system absolutely feels amazing. No longer are we just slide canceling and just diving. We are able to slide cancel in all different directions while shooting, dive in different directions while shooting, and it just gives us a nice new skill gap for players to learn. But don't worry, Treyarch has gone ahead and actually established a whole training course for you to get used to this new Omni movement. That way you're not just heading into it blind. Along with the training course, they've added some new Omni movement settings for you to utilize if you're either on controller or mouse and keyboard. The setting that I've turned on that helped me the most so far to learn Omni movement is under the intelligent movement tab under the sprint assist section, and I have tactical sprint assist enabled. The reason I have this is because there is no longer an automatic tac sprint setting for us to enable. This new tactical sprint assist is now the new auto tac sprint. And if you're on mouse and keyboard or even controller, this is a must-need setting so you can be as fluid as possible with your movement. So you can go ahead and just copy some of the settings I have on the screen. And with this new movement system, the game is playing extremely quickly. It almost reminds me of Apex Legends in a way. But I also want to mention the beta is extremely sweaty right now, and I'm definitely at the top of the SBMM bracket. Not to boast, but yes, I am going against sweats constantly. And you could just tell that this is definitely a more fast-paced arcade shooter, something that we haven't had in a pretty long time, especially from Modern Warfare 2, which is a slow, archaic Tarkov experience. Modern Warfare 3 kind of tapped into those MW19 roots. I think Black Ops 6 is an entirely different experience from either of those Call of Duties. So if you're a fan of the fast-paced shooters, you might actually want to give Black Ops 6 a try. And with this addition of Omni Movement, I think we're going to see a huge skill gap being established within the Call of Duty community. And I actually believe that the CDL, or Call of Duty League, is going to be amazing for this Call of Duty. Being able to dive while shooting, hopping into supine position, or even sliding while shooting is absolutely going to show off some of the characteristics of Black Ops 6 and Omni Movement that will be utilized within professional tournaments from some of your favorite players, which will definitely make for some exciting highlights. I also just wanted to go ahead and show you all of my settings I'm currently using for Omni Movement right now. I am on mouse and keyboard, so I don't have anything for you controller players. I bet there's a bunch of videos out there right now. However, for my mouse and key guys that have been asking for my movement settings and all my keybinds and whatnot, there is that for you. Also, make sure you come over to the view section and go ahead and make sure you have this first-person camera movement to the least, and this is for both mouse and key and controller. This is just going to help with your camera movement, making sure it's not bouncing all over the place. I know there's so much to cover with Omni Movement, but I'm going to keep on moving forward in today's video because there's a lot of other areas I would like to talk to you about. I know Omni Movement is definitely the biggest category right now across the Call of Duty community. However, I wanted to go ahead and touch up on some of the other aspects Treyarch has introduced into Black Ops 6, including something I highly appreciate. They finally have brought back a perk system that is actually easy to understand. I couldn't tell you how many times I played Modern Warfare 3 and I had to switch out my boots, my gloves, my vest, and it just got so complicated I had no idea what my perks were. Treyarch has finally brought back the classic perk system and what they call combat specialty, which is something really unique. So if you run 3 perks of the same combat specialty category, so for me, the Enforcer category, because, well, I love to run and gun, you get access to another special perk, and for me, it's the Enforcer one, which actually grants a temporary buff to movement speed and health regeneration after killing enemies, which is what feeds right into my playstyle. But they have other ones as well, so if you're more of a recon player or what they call a strategist player, they have those perks for you as well. And I love what they did with the whole custom loadout system. It's easy to navigate. I know what weapons I'm running. I know what tacticals, lethals, field upgrades I'm running, perks, and wild cards. It's just an overall great experience. It kind of touches back into the roots of OG Call of Duty, and I'm extremely happy to see this implemented in Black Ops 6. So moving on, I want to talk to you about some of the gunplay mechanics within Black Ops 6. Overall, the visual recoil on mouse and keyboard especially is a huge improvement over Modern Warfare 3 and Modern Warfare 2. I'm running a iron sight SMG build in the gameplay you're seeing today, and I actually have no problem with seeing any of my enemies on screen. The only thing that kind of throws me off, and it's just how it is and it's how it's always been, is like if you get blown up by a grenade, stunned, or something that just absolutely shakes the hell out of your screen, obviously it's going to be harder to shoot your enemy. But when you're not dealing with those camera disturbances from grenades or whatnot, I'm actually able to see most of my enemies. There are some times though when players are laying prone in the bushes or they're peeking a certain corner that's very thin, and it is hard to see enemies at those point of views. But if it's you and an enemy in front, there's no absurd smoke coming from your weapon. There's no absurd visual recoil. But I will say something has carried over from the past CODs into Black Ops 6, and I'm hoping that they address this moving forward, and that is the overarching SMG metas. In this game, somehow, SMGs are outgunning ARs from decent ranges, especially this Jackal PDW. I can literally beam someone across the map better if they have like an AK-47. I'm winning those gunfights with an SMG, which doesn't really make sense, and I'm hoping that they address this when the full game launches. But just for your awareness, it seems like Black Ops 6 is going to be very SMG heavy, especially for multiplayer. I also wanted to mention too, I don't know how it is on controller just because I myself are on mouse and keyboard, but this is a new engine compared to Modern Warfare 3. You know, it's in Sledgehammer versus Treyarch. They have different engines. This is similar to Cold War. And when I first hopped on, my sensitivity on mouse and keyboard felt a little too fast, and I did have to slow it down to adjust. I was on Modern Warfare 3 at 7.5 sensitivity at 400 DPI. Some of you might know what I'm talking about, and if you don't, I'm sorry. But I did have to drop it to 7 sensitivity in-game, so I cut 0.5 off my sensitivity, and it ended up being right where I needed to, and I was able to easily adjust to that. So just a heads up, it might be on controller as well. You might have to adjust your sensitivity onto Black Ops 6, more than likely slowing it down, but it's a pretty quick adjustment. It took me a game or two to get used to it. Wasn't the biggest deal. So along with the gunplay, the Omni movement, and establishing that skill gap like I mentioned before, there are actually interactions you can have on certain maps to change the way it plays. I think this is going to be huge for competitive play and the CDL. I think this is going to be a big aspect of getting different rotations down and utilizing it to your advantage, especially if you're playing like Hardpoint or Domination. An example given, right now I'm booting into the map Skyline, just TDM. Players can actually interact with the map and go to certain areas and enable security or enable functions on the map that actually disables and enables security doors, so it kind of blocks off entrances to certain areas of the map. Some people might see this as an annoyance. I see this as a possibility for higher competitive play, especially when it comes to ranked play or the CDL. This is going to be a function that you might have to learn, especially if you're a ranked player like myself. I love ranked Warzone. Haven't really touched multiplayer, but I might have to now. So just something to keep in the back of the mind of when you're playing ranked. You can utilize the map to your advantage. And I have to mention this because it's so funny, and one of my favorite YouTubers of all time is WALLHACK, and he was absolutely going crazy on Twitter about this being added to Black Ops 6. If you like to troll, have funny moments, and get those hot mics that, you know, we all love to hear, there is a new feature in Black Ops 6, and it's definitely more of a funny thing than actually tactical, if you want to call it like that. But you can actually utilize enemy players as meat shields, and you're able to talk to them while you have them hostage in this shield position.
Yeah. Oh, we hold it, come on, let her go. I'm taking to the promised land now.
It's definitely going to make for some funny moments. It's kind of adding on to the execution stuff you've seen in past Call of Duties where you get behind somebody and you can execute them. this is just another addition to kind of that play style. And if you're looking to have some fun, get some hot mics, and overall just have a laugh or two, this Meatshield or hostage feature might be right up your alley. But I knew it was something I really wanted to bring up in today's video. I myself haven't gotten the chance to use it yet because anyone I'm fighting is literally a pro player. But if you can get some people in a Meatshield or a hostage situation, send me your clips. I would love to react to them. So I probably said the term skill gap 1,000 times in today's video already. Please don't make it a drinking game. You will die. But there is something that does affect the skill gap that more or less only pertains to my controller players, and I would like for you to listen to what I have to say. For the first time in ever for Call of Duty, an associate director of Treyarch came out on Twitter and tweeted this out. Tweaks have been made, aim assist type removed so we can get everyone on a level playing field. We will share details soon. And a good buddy of mine on Twitter named Hexsmith, he is an absolute analytic geek when it comes to controller, rotational aim assist, and just aim assist in general, has confirmed that there is a nerf of aim assist in those close range fights up to, I believe, 3 meters or so. So this doesn't entirely affect aim assist. Like, you'll still have aim assist in Call of Duty, especially Black Ops 6. However, there is less aim assist up close on those close range fights to try and level out the playing field for both inputs. And I think this is a great step in the right direction. I think from this nerf, we're going to see a good balance of players coming from both mouse and key and controller. And don't look at this as negative for you controller guys. I totally understand, rotational aim assist, and trust me, I would want to keep it all around all the time. However, I believe Treyarch, with the new movement mechanics, gunplay, and this AA nerf, they are trying to establish more skill gaps between inputs across all platforms. Because on mouse and keyboard, there are very few of us playing on that input, especially when it comes to Call of Duty. They're just hard to win on mouse and keyboard. So I think this is a great step in the right direction of balancing the inputs. And if you have a different thought about this, leave it in the comments below. And like I said before, I'm not saying that we need to remove aim assist. You guys need it. You guys are on controller. You have 2 analog sticks. I totally understand that aim assist needs to stay. However, controller has always been dominant in the Warzone and multiplayer experience, especially in the top, ranked players. So I think this is a huge step in the right direction. Just some food for thought, though. Let me know what you think about this down below. I'm kind of curious to see what both sides of the game have to feel about this. Now, I know I've mentioned a bunch of positive, exciting things about Black Ops 6 so far, and honestly, I'm excited to play the game when it comes out. However, it's still Call of Duty in the long run, and I'm going to still go over some of the stuff that's still in the game that has been in the game for a while now. One of the biggest things is the packet burst and the connection issues to the servers. That is still a big issue. So if you thought that was gone, unfortunately, it's not. Now, I have seen some stuff on Twitter about people mitigating this issue, but I don't think it's a issue you can completely get rid of. So packet burst, packet loss, and connectivity issues are here to stay. On top of that, the optimization for Black Ops 6 definitely could improve. Just to give you an idea, I was playing around 150, 160 frames per second on pretty much low settings while recording, and I have a 7800X 3D and a RTX 3070 with 32 gigs of RAM. Needless to say, a pretty beefy build, and that's because the recommended GPU for Black Ops 6 is a RTX 3060. So, needless to say, if you are playing on PC, either controller, mouse, and keyboard, doesn't matter, but if you're on a computer playing Call of Duty, yeah, you're going to have to upgrade. And I'll say the biggest downside for a lot of players that I have been seeing, like on Reddit, for example, this is a Treyarch game. A lot of players were expecting Black Ops-based movement like BO3 and BO4. However, Call of Duty is going in a new direction ever since Modern Warfare 2019. The introduction of movement mechanics, gunplay, etc. has always played a part in future COD titles besides Modern Warfare 2, and we can see how that turned out. I know a lot of people were coming into Black Ops 6 thinking that this would be different from Modern Warfare. However, it seems like they've adopted a lot of Modern Warfare characteristics into Black Ops 6. For me, I've always enjoyed Modern Warfare, especially Modern Warfare 2019, and I have been appreciating this change within the Black Ops series, but I can understand how this can be a disappointment for some players expecting different characteristics that define the original Black Ops games. And last but not least, and I think this is just an issue with COD HQ as a whole, is that there are still plenty of hackers. They are literally hackers in the beta. There's already videos circulating on Twitter of people literally spin botting, aim botting, wall hacking, going absolutely just berserk. And unfortunately, the security and the anti-cheat of Call of Duty has always lacked. And it's just something we're just more than likely going to see going forward with any Call of Duty title, unless they overhaul their anti-cheat and the security systems they have to detect unauthorized software, third-party stuff, etc. So, again, if you run into cheaters, I'm sorry. I haven't personally, but they are out there and they are actively rage hacking. So the time has come to give some of my final thoughts and opinions on Black Ops 6 and how I think this game is going to play out. I think this game is going to play out kind of like how Modern Warfare 3 did within its life cycle. If you're a player that likes to compete, show off your skill and talent, and utilize all the movement mechanics, gunplay additives, and features they've added, this is going to be a one hell of a game for you guys, including myself. I've always been that player that likes to compete, likes to show off their skill and talent, and really just establish themselves as a talented, credible Call of Duty player. However, I understand that's not everyone's motives when it comes to playing video games, and I understand that a lot of players want to play casually with friends and not sweat all the time, which is so understandable. I think they're going to be introducing a lot more game modes, obviously outside the beta, including Search and Destroy and some other arcade-based game modes like Modern Warfare 3 had. However, the beta is extremely sweaty as it stands. So if you're more of a casual player that really isn't looking for that sweaty experience of utilizing all the movement tech and whatever, it's going to be a turnoff for you. However, I would honestly wait, maybe refund your pre-order, but wait and see what comes out when the full game launches, because after all, this is just a beta. Just to test out the gunplay, the movement, some of the key core features that Treyarch has added into the new Black Ops game. I'm hoping they introduce a good balance between the player bases so that they can have an overarching, positive response from the community. Because I can tell that they actually have put a decent amount of effort into this game, and I myself have been enjoying it. There's nothing I can say on the Warzone other than the new Resurgence map, which I will be making a video about. So if you're interested in that, make sure you hit the subscribe button. But I think it's a solid year for Call of Duty in general. I think Treyarch did a really good job on Black Ops 6. There are some things they can fix, but hopefully we can see those fixes and patches before the game fully launches, I believe on October 25th. And I'm excited to get out there with some of you guys, play some games, play ranked, have some funny moments, and enjoy Call of Duty. With that being said, I hope today's video gave some more information on the new Black Ops game. Hopefully I didn't scare you away. Hopefully I enticed you to pursue, perhaps. But if you're still on the fence and unsure, maybe don't pre-order. Wait till the full game launches, give it a week or two to see how everyone reacts, and then go from there. I know a lot of my friends and some of my fellow content creators are really excited for the full launch, and I'm looking to bring some of the best content to you guys. Informational, educational, entertainment, whatever. But with that being said, make sure you like, comment down below your initial thoughts on Black Ops 6, and I will see you guys in the next one.